News Day continues here on One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Communist Party of the Philippines welcomes the court decision dismissing the government's petition to declare them and the New People's Army as terrorists. In a statement, CPP Chief Information Officer Marco Valbuena said it was a pleasant surprise considering the relentless red tagging by some government officials. The Manila Regional Trial Court Branch 19 ruled that the CPP and the NPA are not organized for the purpose of terrorism. The Justice Department filed the petition to declare them as terrorist groups back in 2018. Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile is pushing for the 1935 Commonwealth Constitution to be used as the model for a new charter. Jenny Dongon with the report.
Bold statements were made by Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile during the Senate committee hearing on constitutional amendments on Wednesday. Enrile claimed that the late former Senator Benigno Aquino Jr. was behind the formation of the CPP-NPA. This, according to Enrile, was the reason why former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr. declared martial law exactly 50 years ago.
Noong 1968, binuo ni Ninoy, Joma at Normiswari ang dalawang pangkat ng rebelde sa Pilipinas. Ang interes naman ni Ninoy ay guluhin ang gobyerno ni Presidente Marcos dito sa Luzon through the CPP, NPA, later on NDF.
Enrile added that martial law's end goal was to stop the proliferation of movement like North Korea now.
Siguro sa ngayon hindi tayo na ba pwedeng mag-uusap ng ganito baga kagaya tayo ng North Korea. Ang ating hari ay Joma Kim Jong-un.
But for Senate Minority Leader Coco Pimentel, Marcos Sr. used martial law to prolong himself in the power.
Ang feeling ni President Marcos siguro, only he could save the country, and that cannot be true.
National Union of People's Lawyers Attorney Nery Colmenares likewise maintained that martial law was unnecessary. He also denied that the period was the country's so-called golden years, citing rising poverty and unemployment in the country back then. Meanwhile, during the continuation of the Senate constitutional amendments and revision of codes committee hearing on measures seeking to revise the 1987 Constitution, Enrile said that the current charter made the Constitution complicated, adding that the 1935 Constitution was brief, simple, and easy to understand. Furthermore, Enrile said he agrees to reinstate the phrase imminent danger in the martial law provision of the Constitution. He says this would enable the government to respond to any looming war, rebellion, or insurrection.
Pag nakita mo na at natitsak mo sa sarili mong desisyon ng bansa mo ay namimiligro na sasalakayin o wawasakin ng insurekto o ng rebellion, gumalaw ka na.
For News 5, Jenny Dongon, we are One News.
We're gonna pause for a quick break, but we will be back with more stories after that. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Sean Yao. The Federal Reserve raised its key interest rates for the third straight meeting in an effort to combat high inflation. More details in this video from the Associated Press.
My name is Chris Rugaber, and I cover the Federal Reserve and the economy for the Associated Press in Washington. Well, today the Fed raised its benchmark interest rate by another hefty amount, a 3/4 percentage point increase. And Fed Chair Jerome Powell, I think, really sought in his press conference today to drive home how serious the Fed is about raising rates to fight inflation, and even if it does cause some higher unemployment or some trouble for the economy. The Fed has lifted its benchmark interest rate to the highest level since 2008, between 3% and 3.25%. And that should push up borrowing costs, or it will push up borrowing costs for things like mortgages, auto loans, business loans. And the Fed hopes that by raising the cost of borrowing, it will slow spending and therefore slow the economy a bit, and then that will bring down inflation. One of the other things the Fed did is it also projected that it will continue to hike rates even to higher levels than previously expected. So it now expects to push its key benchmark interest rate up to 4%, even higher. We've already seen the housing market take a hit. Home sales have fallen 20% in the past year. The 30-year mortgage rate has topped 6% for the first time since 2008. So that is going to make it harder for folks to buy a home. And it also risks a recession. So there is a risk that a lot of people will lose their jobs. Frankly, that the Fed has increased its forecast for how high unemployment will go. They now expect unemployment to get up to 4.4% next year, and that's compared to 3.7% now. And that translates really into about 1 million people, potentially 1.5 million, losing their jobs. So that is probably the biggest change that's on the horizon, at least for those who will be unfortunate enough to lose work. But for other people, there will be higher borrowing costs on things like credit cards, mortgages, and auto loans. It was expected that they would do a lot of what they did. So, right, the big rate hike was expected, and it was expected they would project higher increases into the future, but they did project a little higher than many people thought. So it was a bit of a tougher set of measures than were expected. So the stock market has gone down some, and the bond market has also taken a hit. So there was that negative reaction. But it's in the same direction that people expected.
And in Russia, President Vladimir Putin has ordered a partial mobilization of troops as the war with Ukraine rages on. Putin signed a decree drafting some 300,000 Russian military reservists, saying extra manpower is needed to win the war against the Ukraine and its Western backers. The decree specifies that only those with military experience and specialization will be prioritized. Additional training will also be given to those drafted. Putin says this special operation aims to demilitarize and liberate the Donbas region of Ukraine, which has a large Russian-speaking population. For more updates, visit News 5, The Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on Signal Play. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News Live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao. We are One News.